special effects! Don't worry, it's nothing bad, it's just vape. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I have the new Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette. I'm so excited to review this for you, show you a tutorial on it. I've not tested out Melt Shadows before. I've only ever bought one item from them, and that was the matte lipstick in Blow, which was a very dark green lipstick. Looks so beautiful. I still love it. I just don't wear it quite as often because it's a very bold lip. I actually have it right here. This is the lipstick. Very dark green shade, but oh man, it is gorgeous. But before I jump right into it, I do want to let you guys know that this video is extra special because it is going to be a collaboration with my two YouTube besties. It is with Allison Jacobs and Crystal K Beauty. I absolutely love their channels. They are such down-to-earth women, and I just genuinely enjoy watching their content. Whenever I watch their videos, I feel like I'm just hanging out with my friends. They are absolutely amazing. And how it's gonna work is all three of us are uploading our own videos on the palette. We're gonna do different styles that we have planned out. I myself am gonna be doing a cut crease look. Haven't quite figured it out yet, but that is a goal. Allison Jacobs is doing a foolproof smoky eye look, and Crystal K Beauty is gonna be doing a halo eye. That way we were able to show you guys something different. And all of the videos will be going live at the same time, and I will put a link in the description box so that way you guys can check out their videos after my video, of course. I'm very excited to see what they come up with. But now let's get into talking about the palette. I'm so excited. Let me show you a close-up. So here she is, the Smoke Sessions palette by Melt Cosmetics. And just look at these shades. Oh my gosh, they look so beautiful. I absolutely love the color scheme that is in here. There's so many greens, so many golds. It looks so beautiful. I can't wait to start just testing it out. It honestly reminds me a lot of the Gemini palette, which I didn't pick up. I'm kind of regretting that I didn't, because it looks like the Smoke Sessions palette is gonna be like a sister to the Gemini. She's similar, but yet she's different. So it's kind of like if you combine the two, it looks like you could get some really amazing combinations. But I do want to go ahead and start doing some swatches right away because I want to see how they look outside of the pan. So let's do that first. So I'm going to try my best to not ruin that pot leaf that they have pressed in there. I think that looks so cool. So I'm just gonna swatch them out like this. The first of which is called Gravity OG. Ooh, baby. That's pigment. Second, we have Granddaddy, another shimmer. Third is called Black Widow. Those three were shimmers, and now we're about to reach the two mattes in the palette, which the first is called Sour Diesel, which is a matte brown shade, and the other one is called Space Queen, which looks like kind of a dark green. We then have the shade called Mean Green, Sweet Tooth. Ooh, that one looks beautiful. And lastly, we have Blue Dream. And I'm pretty positive, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm like 99.9% sure that all of these are weed-inspired names. It is a very weed-themed palette, obviously. I mean, it's called Smoke Sessions, which I absolutely love how they do their designs of things. Melt Cosmetics does things so differently. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. They go so out of the box, and I love how they make their eyeshadows a lot larger than what is expected, because even with their stackers, I've seen them in person. They had them, I think it was at Eyeshadow at a booth, and they are huge. So they are very generous in the amount of eyeshadow that you get, which I can 100% love. But anyways, let's get back to this. I think where I need to go next is to just start applying this to my eyelids because I want to see how these perform. So let me scoot you guys a little bit closer and let's go ahead and do this. So I'm gonna get started with putting on a little bit of eyeshadow primer. I'm gonna put the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in Eden. That way the eyeshadow has a good base to stick to and we can apply things evenly. And then I've been kind of debating this for a while. I've been playing with the colors on the back of my hand, and honestly, I don't think the Sour Diesel and Space Queen go together. It looks very muddy and kind of turns into a weird shade if you try to put, you know, a gold with it and then maybe a mint or something like that. I think they are meant to be kind of used on their own, which is a little bit unfortunate. I was kind of hoping that I would have, you know, something a little bit more to blend in with it, so I was hoping to use something combination, but I'm happy I kind of tested it on the back of my hand first, because I was looking at it and I was like, it's so dark. Are these two colors really gonna go together? It's a brown and a kind of like deep emerald. So I have an idea. I do want to use both these shades, but I'm going to use them on separate eyes. That way I can test them both out. So I'm going to start with a shade called Sour Diesel. And I'm going to be taking that on my Makeup Geek Define crease brush. And I'm going to be running this along the crease and just kind of bringing it all the way out here, because it is going to be a full-on cut crease, I decided. Not a half, but a full. So I'm just going to be running this color all the way through just like so, kind of giving it a little swoop here at the end. And I'm just kind of placing the shadow first, just like so, and then no extra pigment because that color is intense. That is just with one swipe of the eyeshadow. So I'm just going to use this, whatever's left on the brush, to blend it upwards. Just keep blending, just keep blending, 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 blending. And maybe dipping in just a little bit more, kind of placing a little bit more of the pigment down in the lower part of this kind of crease. Just building up things a little bit more, even though it's pretty dark on its own. And then since we just have that one matte shade to work with, I'm gonna plop some concealer on the back of my hand. I'm gonna start tracing out the cut crease. And then once you are happy with the level of the cut, we can move into some shimmery shades. And then I want to go in with a shimmer shade, and I think with the brown it'll go best with these kind of like more gold tone ones. So I'm thinking I want to start off with a shade called Black Widow. Start placing that down right out here. It's actually kind of difficult right now with my new nails, so I'm going to take my MAC 248 brush and start packing on that color. That applies beautifully. And then because I want to test out more shadows, I want to take the shade called Granddaddy right over here. Start layering that in. Ooh, damn, that is beautiful. Start just packing that on right in here. Just kind of placing that in this 1/2 region, blending it into Black Widow. Damn, that color is beautiful. I'm wondering, can we take Gravity OG and pop that in the inner corner as like a highlight? And I'm gonna take just a little bit more of the shade called Sour Diesel on my Sigma E17 brush. This brush is the best for doing this little trick. I like to take the shade I was using as the darkest shade and just kind of deepen things up along where I cut the crease. I think it makes such a world of a difference. All right, let's hit pause on this eye and go over to this one. I have a color switch and I'm not afraid to use it. I'm now gonna be taking the shade called Space Queen, and I'm gonna be doing just the same method, but I'm gonna be using a different color scheme. So I'm gonna start placing that shade, creating that like cut crease shape, packing it on at first, and then just blending it out. Yeah, cause man, that is blue. Or well, not blue, it's like a, I say it's like an emerald. That's what that reminds me of. It's like a very dark, dark blue, kind of green. I am very aware that this is gonna be a kind of weird eye look since I'm gonna have two different colored eyes, but I wanted to show you guys that colors in here, and since I couldn't really combine them together, at least in my opinion, I don't think they really work. I wanted to show you guys. Man, that seemed like it just blended itself. That was really nice. The other one, I will admit, I had a little bit more difficulty working with. I think this one was a little bit easier. Then once more, taking some concealer and just cutting out that crease. And then once the other one is cut out, let's go in with some shimmer shades. And now that I've already done it and I added that shade out in this outer part, I kind of wish I would have stuck to the two lighter shades instead, but it's too late now. I am committing. I'm gonna be taking the shade called Mean Green and start placing that just like I did with the other side. Start placing that kind of like halfway through the eye, starting from the outer to the middle. I'm packing that on with my Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow brush. Then let's take the shade called Sweet Tooth and start packing that in. And oh my god, that color is beautiful. I've actually seen, I think it was Laura, do the entire eye just with this shade and it looks stunning. Merging these two shades together, it's kind of a interesting combination I'm doing today. And then lastly, taking the shade called Blue Dream, I'm popping that right in the inner corner. And I'm gonna be taking just a little bit more of Space Queen on my Sigma E17 brush and go along these edges and help define things again. And then I'm just gonna take a little Q-tip and some makeup remover and start cleaning up these edges. So, man, there was quite a bit of fallout and I kind of went all the way over the edge. Man, I didn't realize how far I dragged that color out because I was like, I'm gonna clean it up in the end. It doesn't matter if it's messy. Wow, that was messy. All right, I think I want to add a wing as well. So I'm gonna take my Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper Black and just start winging things out on both sides. Then with the liner on, let's put on a little bit of mascara. I'm gonna be taking the NYX Worth The Hype and just coating up the top lashes for now. We are gonna make our way back to the bottom after I apply a phase base, so that way we can do the lower lash line as well with some eyeshadow. Do you guys ever have those moments where you kind of doubt yourself? I had that today with this eyeshadow look. I was like, is this gonna work out? Like, I was, am I doing something completely weird? But I'm thinking it's turning out pretty good. Then with mascara on, I'm gonna pop on some lashes. These are a new pair I'm gonna be trying out. This is also from Violet Voss. It is called Sexy and I Know It. The I Donut Care ones, those are my jam. I love those. But when I went to the store to purchase another pair, they were out. They only had one pair, and it was just this one, so testing it out. Man, these lashes are intense. They're cute, but I Donut Care lashes, those ones, they won't be beat, at least not yet. But these will do, so I'm gonna go ahead and complete the face off camera, and then I will be right back and we can finish up this lower lash line. And I'm thinking to kind of help complement each other, I'm gonna be taking the matte shades underneath on the lower lash line. So on this eye, I'm gonna be taking the shade called Sour Diesel and start kind of packing that on and blending that out. And I'm using my Luxie 141 brush, a round mini, to pack that on and blend it out. On the opposite side, I'm gonna be taking the shade called Space Queen, working that all the way across. Just kind of buffing and blending that out all the way across. And then to re-intensify this inner corner, I'm placing a little bit more of Blue Dream down. And then on the opposite side, adding a little bit more of Gravity OG. And then last step, let's pop on a little bit of lower mascara. And I feel like this lip color is a little bit dark, Gonna pop a little bit of Pure Hollywood on. We finally made it to the end, guys, and this look I know isn't for everyone. It's a little bit more on the dramatic and bold side, but I just really wanted to play with as many colors as I could today and just create something a little bit different. And I was actually able to use every shade that was inside of this palette, which makes me so excited because then you get a little bit of a better idea of how the palette works and performs instead of just using a couple of shades. And I felt like the look ended up actually being pretty cool. I was a little worried along the way, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, is this actually gonna turn out to look good? But I think everything put together, I really like it. Now, that being said, I have quite a few opinions about this palette. Number one, there is not enough matte shades. The two matte shades that are in here are so dark. I mean, I know myself, and on a daily basis, if I wanted to use this palette, I'm gonna have to use another palette to use in combination with this because I don't like to go that dark that quick. I like to build it up, you know, layer some transitioning in there, you know, get it to a low level and then sneak in some of that darker, bolder color. And I have a feeling that's going to be the case for a lot of people, so that's just one thing I do want to mention. And I will say that working the shade Sour Diesel on its own out here in the kind of crease area, it was a little bit more difficult to work with than Space Queen. It felt like it got a little bit muddy, but I feel like that could be helped if you have a transition color in there. I went in straight with that dark shade, and I think that's kind of where I had the difficulty because trying to blend that dark shade out isn't that easy. It's a lot of work, and I felt like in some areas I wasn't really able to execute it perfectly, which kind of makes me stare at it a little bit, and I'm just like, ugh. I wish I could have gone in with another shade, but I wanted to keep it just with this palette in case you didn't pick up any other palettes, you don't have the palette I'm using, you know, just stick to what we got together. So that's the only thing I want to mention. I'm definitely going to try to use that in combination with some other shades next time and see if I still have that kind of difficulty. But other than that, the pigmentation was incredible. It is so pigmented that you could literally just go boop, and then just go on the lid and it just swipes across everywhere. It's amazing. And the shimmery shades are so beautiful and just so buttery. I wish we had the technology where I could just like have you guys reach through a screen and just touch these because they feel so good. So those are the kind of pros and the cons. Oh, one more thing. So this palette is $48 and you do receive 8 eyeshadows, which are pretty large eyeshadows, but that works out to be about $6 per pan, which is a lot. It is a little bit on the more expensive side. They are they still indie? They were an indie brand, now they're kind of larger, but they're not at mass retailers. So I think they're like breaking the barrier of being an indie brand and being like a big brand, if that makes sense. And I think that's why their prices have been a lot higher because they were doing everything on their own. They still are, they're independent. So I can totally understand their price points. They're not able to bring the cost down yet. But that being said, I do know that this is out of the price range for some of you guys. So if you're looking at it and you're like, I can't afford it, understandable, don't get it. If it's not in your price point, don't get it. If it's a splurge item and you're looking at it and you're like, I need those shades, they look beautiful, I don't have them in my collection, then go for it. That's just one thing I want to mention about it, but 100% I am so happy with this palette. So beautiful and so intense. I'm gonna be playing around with these shimmers probably the rest of the week. Whenever I'm not filming, I'm gonna be playing with these shimmery shades. I'm also super excited to see what Allison and Crystal were able to come up with in their looks and see what their thoughts were on the palette as well. So don't forget to hit the link down below so you can check out their videos. I'm really excited to go watch them. But I think that's where I'm gonna leave you guys for today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed my review and tutorial on the Smoke Sessions palette. Let me know down below if you got this palette as well or you're thinking about picking it up. I want to know. And if you like this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell button. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.